Welcome back to the Girl, Your Brand's a Big Deal podcast with Dr. Sade Wayadu. And we are here with another phenomenal episode. And this episode is sponsored by Vonza. It's an all-in-one course platform. So if you want to have your community, your courses, and your digital products and memberships all in one place, check out Vonza. We're going to give you a 14-day free trial. So make sure you look in the show notes of this episode so that you can get your course on, okay? Because your brand's a big deal and so is your course. So I'm super excited because we are here with Bethanie Nonami. I'm going to say no nonsense because we're talking about sales, money, the PayPal that blings, and the Stripe that sings. So I'm super excited to have her here because if, girl, your brand's going to be a big deal, your sales needs to be a big deal too. So welcome to the podcast, Bethanie.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for saying yes and sliding in the DMs and making this happen today, because that's how deals happen. Speaking of deals, tell us a little bit more about who you are and why your brand's a big deal.
So I started in technology a long time ago before there were Windows, and I started getting paid in high school. And I was lucky. I was not a big fan of school. I didn't do well in school, and I landed in technology and have been there my whole life. I pivoted into sales when I was in my early 20s, and I got recruited by a big consulting company that was a software company, like back in the day when women had to wear 3-piece suits and pantyhose, very conservative. It was a big controversial thing for me to get hired because I was the first woman of color with no degree. So they actually had a pool of whether or not I was going to make it or whether or not I wasn't going to make it. And I was used to it. So my job was to figure out how to sell every single software they had better than the people that were there. And I just love sales. I pivoted and started to work with small business owners after I had my first daughter because I was working at IBM at the time. And at the time, we would leave on Saturday or Sunday and get back Friday. And I was coming back from maternity leave and found out that the ticket was in the mail for the ticket to go on the plane. This was before e-tickets. And I just went on my own. So I work with small business organizations and help them sell into corporations. So if they monetize their course, if they monetize their brilliance in a speech or a workshop, I help them get to the next level faster without losing themselves in the process and without the struggle.
Okay, so we know that businesses across the board struggle with sales.
Yes.
And I work with women, and I know you work with some women entrepreneurs as well. And what do you see as the biggest sales challenges that people are having, or even sales blocks? What are some of the challenges?
So I think there's a few things. First, we have to realize that we have to own our worth. And we have to ask for more money, because I guarantee you, I don't care what you charge, somebody else is making more money and probably not even delivering the same value you deliver. So part of it is mindset, and we have to ask for more money. The other thing is we have to make sure we're selling to the right person that can afford to pay us. Because sometimes we are passionate. I am passionate about helping Black women win. That's my passion. That's not my profit. So I sell to corporations so I can hit 7-8 figures. But then if I want to give back to this community, I can give back on such a higher level and need nothing from them. And that's just, I think it's important for us to know that we might have the perfect aim, but our target's off.
Ooh. You want to help people, your target might be off. Let's talk a little bit more about that. I want to dig a little bit deeper into the sales mindset because it's definitely blocking us. So in addition to knowing our worth and our mindset, what are some of these other struggles that we're having when it comes to sales and not knowing our target market?
Right. So one, if this happens when you're on a sales call, you're excited, you're talking about it, they ask you about the price and you shrink, and your tone changes and your body language changes, then you don't value the amount that you're asking for. So you have to practice. This is not work that's one and done. This is when I go from 5K to 20K and I go from 20K to 100K, there's always new work to be done. So you have to practice asking for that money. And if it doesn't make you uncomfortable, if it doesn't make you get hot and make your palms sticky a little bit, it's not high enough. So we have to realize that if we are playing small and it's comfortable for us, our brain's just doing our job. The brain's job is to protect us. But when it's scary, when it's uncomfortable, when we're afraid of being told no, that's the number we have to ask for.
Ooh. So what do you say to someone who says, I don't want to be salesy. Mm-hmm. I don't want to sell, or, that's just not me. It's not in me.
I get it, but sales is a sacred vehicle to get our gift to the world. If we don't sell and if we don't ask for the money, then we're doing a disservice to the people that we can serve. It's on us to sell. It's on us to ask. It's on us to get highly compensated for our value. And if we don't, then everything else is just like, it's heavy. It's a struggle. It's too much. And we need to not confuse marketing with sales. Just because we market and we show up on social media and we're doing all the things, that doesn't mean we're selling. It's just a way to nurture people. It's a way to build trust and authority, but it is not selling. If you get good at sales, you don't have to worry about bank loans. You don't have to worry about getting grants. You control the cash flow that comes into your business. It's a skill that everyone needs to learn.
It's a skill that everyone needs to learn. I want to go back to that fear, because I definitely felt that fear when I started my business. And even when we go to new levels, we feel that fear about price points in sales. And I remember being terrified to charge $2,500. The words could not come out of my mouth. I was charging $80 for this, $80 for that, $80 for the firstborn child that's not born yet. And my coach said, okay, you need to charge $2,500. I could not even verbalize it. So someone else said, okay, you can do $1,000. And that sounded better to me. So I want you to know that this is definitely a skill that definitely pays the bills, and it's a process. So I've gone through that process at the $2,500 level. I've gone through that process at the $25,000 level. And you spoke about selling to the people who want to pay these higher levels. And I know some of you are watching this and you're tired of selling maybe that $97 course, but maybe you want to start transitioning and pivoting to companies and corporations that'll pay you the big bucks. So I definitely want to spend a lot of time talking about that. What should we be thinking about if we are interested in selling our products and services and courses to companies and corporations?
Let me start by telling you that corporations spend $485 billion a year on experts. That's coaches, that's mentors, that's trainers, that's speakers. That's not consulting, that's not services, that's just that category. So if you want to sell at a higher level, now sell anything. You can sell manifestation. You can sell faith, purpose, God. You can sell resiliency. You can sell suicide prevention. You can sell things that you don't even think corporations would support for way higher value than I can sell sales or marketing. So they value that because it's a need. It's something that their employees want, and they don't want to do it. So you have a whole department in large corporations called learning and development. Their job is to support HR and support employees. Somebody goes to somebody in HR and says, I would love to learn about manifestation. Then the person's job is to find a coach or a course to buy around manifestation. So corporations buy in-person training. They also buy online courses, and they easily spend $2,000 to $6,000 per license per person per year. So if you say, I want to have $1 million goal, that's $100,000, $83,000 a month. Well, let's just round it up and say I want $100K a month. So you want to make 1.2 million. In order for you to make 1.2 million, you have to find a corporation to either buy 200 licenses at $6,000 a piece. That'll hit your 1.2 million, or 600 licenses at $2,000 a piece. They buy it all. If you go to a corporation that has 1,000 employees, you're like, let's just start with the pilot. Let's just start with 200. Okay. They will do that all day long. If you have something that you've already built that solves a problem, don't think that corporations won't buy it, because they buy almost everything that comes to courses.
Vonza.com, Yui and Faith, I want to say congratulations on just working hard, being entrepreneurs.
Create courses, sell products, build website, sales funnels, grow community, coach clients, send emails, get paid. Finally, all the tools you need to turn your knowledge into a flourishing business. Vonza is so easy to use. Start your free trial now.
You guys have a great website, Vonza.com, and guess what? I'm going again. Keep up the great work.
They buy almost everything that comes to courses. So I know we have some more questions. Let's break this down even more. So if I am a course creator, which we are, and we serve a lot of course creators, how do we get into these companies to know that what we offer is what they want? Like, where do we find this information? What should we start with? Like, if you have a process, what should we do?
So what you can do for free is you can go to LinkedIn and you can search for jobs. If somebody is hiring a course creator, they're hiring somebody to teach a skill. So say you are a marketing person and you teach about social media. You can search for social media manager in LinkedIn and see what companies are hiring. Right now, when we're airing this, this is a tough labor market. It's the first time in United States history that there's 2 jobs for every human that's of working age. So not only is it a tough labor market, people don't want to go back to work after COVID. They want to stay home. Companies want people to come back to work. So they have to be creative and find new ways to incentivize people to come to work. If they are hiring a social media manager and that job opening has been open for more than 30 days, that is an opportunity for you to go to that company and say, hey, I can help you solve this problem. So you might be a stopgap to fill a labor need that they have because that's your expertise. So you can use LinkedIn job boards to look for your skill and find them. You can also go after any companies that are like the best places to work. Most of those, every city has this magazine that comes out every year. Best places to work Atlanta, best places to work Chicago. They are on that list because their employees have said it's a great place to work. They're local to you. You reach out to them. There's an HR person. Sometimes there's a training person. Sometimes there's over talent development, executive development. And you say, this is the skill that I teach. Is that a need? Are you trying to solve that problem? I'm local. So you can easily find all of these companies for free by just doing a little bit of research.
A little bit of research goes a long way. So how many of you are going to be revamping your LinkedIns and reaching out? This is amazing. That was really great advice. Listen, you probably need to just rewind this part of the episode, watch it again, take notes, and don't just take notes, but take action. So now we know where to find them. What are some of those next steps after that? Because I know people are like, okay, we know where to find these jobs. We know where to find these positions, and we want to really still connect with corporations. What are some of the things that they need to they need to take into consideration if they want to be corporate ready?
Okay. So when we work with people, we do cold outreach and email. And when we send that email, they're all cold. They don't know us. We have tested using our website link and using our LinkedIn link. 93% of the time, people are going to LinkedIn. They're not looking at our website. And here's the thing about LinkedIn. 95% of corporate decision makers are on LinkedIn. 86% of them go to LinkedIn first before they ask a colleague, before they ask word of mouth, or before they Google search a solution provider. They are looking on LinkedIn to find you. So having your LinkedIn profile appear to be the business you want to be, not the business you are. Appear to be that you're a corporate trainer, that you're a keynote speaker, that this is what you do now is super important on LinkedIn. And in your headline, you have your picture at the top, you have your banner, and you have a headline right below that. That's not all the things. That's not all the credentials. That is the problem that you solve. That is the first thing that's in that headline. I help corporations understand AI. That's the problem I solve. If they're not a corporation, they're not for me. If they don't want to understand AI, they're not for me. Then you can put author, mentor, coach, speaker. All that goes after the problem that you solve. The next thing you can do on LinkedIn is update your about section. Your about section is not about you. It's about the problem you solve, the people you've worked with, and the success that you've had. And if you have not worked with corporations, that's okay. You might have worked with other business owners. If you haven't worked with other business owners, you've probably done it in your job. So we all have success. We all have proof that we can do the thing. So the problem you solve, what they can expect in working with you, how they can engage with you, and how they can contact you. The About You section is all about them and how they can pay you. Now that you have that profile kind of updated, you can start to reach out to all of these people. They're all on LinkedIn. It doesn't matter the industry. It doesn't matter the title. There are a billion people on LinkedIn and all your decision makers are there. So make it a point that when you take action, you are clear on the business you want to become. You show up as that business on LinkedIn and you start to reach out from a place of service. So I know Dr. Sade has talked a lot about adding value first and showing up. We all get pitched on LinkedIn. We can see it coming. We can feel it coming. But the way to not be salesy is say, hey, I'd love to connect with you. We're connected to other people. And then we have this data. We have this case study. I'd love to share what we've learned with working with other clients solving this problem. Is that cool? They'll say yes. They'll say no. Then you can say, hey, this is what we do. Do you know anyone that's struggling with this right now? So it's taking the icky sales part away because you're not saying, buy my stuff. You're saying, hey, this is the problem we solve. Is anybody in your network struggling with this? Because I'd love if you can connect us. So it's not a heavy lift and it's not a big ask, but it still either will lead to a referral. It also gets you in front of them. And when you connect with people, they all look at your profile. So you're having decision makers see your profile that probably would not even know who you are had you not connected with them. That's why it's so important that we appear to be the business we want to become, not the one we are.
Be the business you want to become, not the one you are, because your brand's a big deal. I love that. So I want to go back into sales because I know that we can sell to corporations, we can sell to people. What would you say are maybe 2 or 3 of your top sales boosting tips? If I wanted to increase my revenue over the next 30 to 90 days, what are the things that I need to be focused on?
First, you need to tell everybody what you do because nobody knows. We think people know what we do, but they don't. So I was in technology for years, which meant everyone in my family thought I could fix a VCR or a TV or a computer. That is not what I do. I was in software, but in their mind, I can just fix stuff with a power button. You have to introduce yourself or reintroduce yourself to everybody that's in your contacts, everybody that's in your email, and everybody that's in your LinkedIn profile. And you can either do this by just exporting your contacts out of your phone, out of your email, out of your LinkedIn, and look at who would be a good target, or you just blanket everybody. This is what I do. This is who I serve. These are the problems I solve. Do you know anybody? Literally 4 sentences can be going out to everybody in your email, everybody in your text messages, and everybody in your network. The other thing that you can do is you can start to reach out to people. It is, I don't know when this is going to air, but right now it's Q4. It's the end of the year. So there are people that have budgets that may not have spent budgets. If you sell to government, it's the beginning of the year. So there are budgets that have just been released that you could potentially get in. So your job becomes very clear that you need to pitch everyone and anyone. And if you're not getting out there and networking, there are meetup groups that you can introduce yourself. If there are meetup groups, Facebook groups, Eventbrite groups that are filled with your people, then you can go in front of them and say, hey, I teach on this thing. I would love to share this with your community. Chamber of Commerce. There's so many organizations that don't know what to talk about with their people, and they're trying to find people to come in and talk. All of those things are free. They're your time, but they're free. So introduce people to what you do, reintroduce yourself, go back to past clients and tell them what you're doing. Because we pivot a lot. And sometimes we build new things and we market it or we launch it, but we don't tell everybody else about it. Everybody needs to know what you do.
I love that. Everyone needs to know what you do. So what's next for you?
So right now we are on a family gap year. And I am working with a small group of clients to help them elevate their profile on LinkedIn and help them get corporate contracts. But I'm also doing a lot of international travel where this is the other thing. Whatever you want to design when you work with corporations. I was working with corporations, just speaking and training, selling courses, but then we wanted to do this family gap year. We go to a different country every month. So I started pitching international companies. And basically said, hey, I'm going to be in South Africa in December. I'd love to stop by. And they're like, cool. Hey, I'm going to be in Italy. Love to stop by. Cool. So now I'm getting paid to go speak and travel with my family. So just keep in mind that whatever fits your life, your business is supposed to support that. Our life is not to support our business. So you can always design that program, that offer, and pitch it to corporations, and they love innovative new things. So just because you haven't done it before, you haven't seen it done, doesn't mean you can't sell it.
Ooh, I love that. The family gap year. Oh, I just love that. Where did that come from? I want to, learn a little bit more about this.
So my daughter graduated high school early, and I did not want her going to college at 16. So she brought up this idea, and she's like, I'm going to do this gap year. And in my mind, that's like white kids traveling through Europe on a backpack. And I'm like, absolutely not. But we can do it as a family. So I pulled my son out. He's being homeschooled. My mother-in-law is in her 70s. She's never really traveled far outside the United States. So every month we go somewhere and create memories for her, create memories with the kids and her. And that's what we do.
Oh, I love it. So share with us why your brand is a big deal.
My brand is a big deal because I have made it part of my mission to make sure that all the people that are doubted win. And it shows up in everything I do. And I will continue to do that work until we are not a statistic that is the lowest of everything.
Period. Bethanie, this has been absolutely amazing. How can our audience stay connected with you?
LinkedIn. Bethanie Nonami on LinkedIn. It's all going to be spelled wrong, so I'll make sure that
we will make sure you have the correct name because we're going to put some respect on her name. And what do you have coming up next? Some products and services and how they can work with you as you travel the world with your family.
So what we're doing right now is we're working with a lot of minority and women business owners to get certified. Because certifications, regardless of what's going on with affirmative action and what's going on with diversity and lawsuits and all of that stuff right now in our country, there are organizations that have made it their mission to spend $1 billion or higher with companies that are small like us, that look like us, that have very high value skills. And that is just a tool that you can leverage. It is a way to get in the door. It doesn't mean the door is going to be kicked down, but the door will be open. And many of us don't take the time to do it. And it is a lot of documentation and it is some of your time, but that piece of paper holds weight when you go into corporations. So if you haven't sold to corporations before, but you're certified, then the certification people will walk you in the door to your buyer so you can start a conversation. So that makes them cold and moves them into warm. And you can't get that any other way.
I love it. Thank you so much for being on the Girl Your Brand's a Big Deal podcast. These episodes are sponsored by Vonza, our all-in-one course platform. If you want a 14-day trial, we'll make sure to click the link below and have a 14-day trial. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.